What's going on, YouTubers? This is your Thunder God Lex the Don. I'm sorry if you can barely see me at this point. I don't have that good lighting as I used to. I'm in my studio area where I'm reorganizing, so bear with me with it. Today's review is the Batman. I've seen the Batman on Friday night, and I'm doing a review today because I just got off from work. And yesterday I could have done it, but I was so tired, being up all day. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and give you my review. Starting off, we're gonna do a whole non-spoiler, how I feel about the film and everything. Then we're gonna go into some spoilers to how much I'm gonna remember, and then I'm gonna like give my prediction on how this trilogy, as we all know, it's gonna be a trilogy with this Batman with Matt Reeves, is gonna go. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my phone went off. I'll give my predictions and everything. So let's start off with the how this movie went. So far, this movie is the perfect Batman. It's not a perfect film. It's the perfect Batman. Let me take out my glasses because you can barely see my eyes. Matt Reeves has done a phenomenal job with this, and he made the Batman the way he said he wanted to do it, and we got ourselves our very own, the very first time on screen, a Batman who is a detective. We know Batman is a badass with it, hand to hand combat. We know he has gadgets. We know he has all this and that and the third. Phone's going off again. There it goes. But as far as we have not seen on screen is the detective side of Batman. We don't know how great he is on screen. We know from the comic books and animated shows and animated movies and everything, but we never seen the full extent of him being a detective that we all wanted to see, and Matt Reeves has delivered that. Um, so basically, he he did a crazy job with this film, and it's dark, it's gritty, it's very mopey and gothic in a way, but more of a noir type of thing where it's how do you say, um, like it's a true detective story. Like you know who's behind it, but you're trying to figure out why and what other secrets come of it and everything. Um, the cast is great. We're gonna start from here to there, basically supporting to the main character. Um, I forgot the guy's name who plays Falcone in this one, but he's great. You guys know him from the Transformers. Um, he was great. Very sly and an asshole. You never expect him to play this kind of role because he always plays like a funny role. But he was great playing as Falcone. Um, Jeffrey Wright, I think that's his name, um, as Lieutenant Gordon, not Commissioner Gordon, because everybody thinks it's Commissioner Gordon, but he's Lieutenant. Um, Perfect Gordon. He played Gordon like Gordon. You know what I mean? And he. I gravitate to his character and everything, and I enjoy watching him on the film, and I would like to see more with him in the spin-off shows that they say they're going to have on HBO Max. Um, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Now, Colin Farrell, you would not even know that's Colin Farrell as the Penguin. You would just think it's some guy or some actor you don't know, and they brought it into this film. But no, that's Colin Farrell underneath the makeup. Um, he was he played the Penguin like the Penguin, like but more of a mobster Penguin, not the one like you seen from um, Gotham or what you call it, or the Tim Burton's Batman Returns Penguin. This is like a really different Penguin where he's like an Italian mobster. and everything. And he played the role really well. Like I said, you never know it was him. Um, who else? Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz. Lordy Jesus, Lordy, 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 Lordy Jesus. She played Catwoman very, very well. I would say she's like a mixture between Michelle's Pfeiffer Catwoman and Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. And I'm gonna explain that in the spoilers. Um, is she better than Anne Hathaway's Catwoman? Yes. Is she better than Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman? By some degree, yes, but I put her up there with her, same pedestal as Michelle Pfeiffer. But better than Anne Hathaway's, yes, I will say she's definitely better than Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. Now, as far as fighting skills go, Zoe Kravitz will beat both of them hands down without like even trying at this point. Um, uh, Paul Dano as the Riddler. Now, we had a two live action Riddlers from the Adam West era and Batman Forever. Now, from the Adam West era, he was a little goofy, but he always speaks in riddles. And also from Gotham, I'm sorry. But he always speaks in riddles, and he was very, very bright, and the show was like a bright type of thing. Sorry. Yeah, so he was kind of goofy fun. And then we had Jim Carrey where it was like over the top goofy fun, but he brought out the whole Riddler thing about speaking riddles, had different devices, stuff that he wanted to do for Batman, try to see if he can solve it and everything. But in the same aspect, he never challenged Batman intellectually as far as this film did. Gotham, he was speaking riddles all the time, but he was like a sympathetic type of person. You didn't know where he was going to go, but then he's done a lot of bad things. Then they made it seem like he has a schizophrenia, like a different personality, that he's this. And then, the Riddler comes in and is like, no, you can't do it. It was like, it was three different versions. And this one basically challenged Batman, his intellectual side, his mind and everything, but also at the same time believed that he's doing at the same time he believes what he's doing is right because he's taking out corrupted people, as we all know from the trailers. But like I said, I'll get into that in the spoilers. Now, is he a better Riddler? Yes, by some degree, that he's more menacing and he's more psychotic, and he challenges Batman's mind more than the previous Riddlers that we seen live action. Um, Paul Dano played a hell of a job as the Riddler. That I will give him that and everything. Okay, um, for the Gundagra, however you say it, um, Robert Patterson as Batman. Is he my favorite Batman? Does he outbeat the other Batman? The live action Batman. Um, some yes, some no. Now I'm gonna go through the list on which Batman he outdid. Um, as far as Adam West, Adam West was the original, uh, one of the original old Batman shows that we all know growing up. I can't remember the one before it. It was black and white. I can't remember that exactly, but far as I remember, Adam West to me is the oldest one. Um, Now, as term as detective side, does this Batman detective side outweighs Adam West detective side? I would say it's neck to neck. I'll give that. I would say it's neck to neck. He basically they both got the same aspect of detectiveness, but it's different from both views. Combat skills, obviously, Robert Pattinson's Batman outdoes him in that. Costume wise, outdoes him in that and everything. I get it; it's a TV show and whatnot, but let's be real. Batmobile. Uh, Even though the Batmobile in this one was retro, but everybody's gonna go with the classic Adam West style. But I'm gonna have to say that his Batmobile outdoes his, out speed, out strength, and everything else. Is it louder? Yes, definitely. Um, Gadgets, obviously, Robert Pattinson beats him by default. Batman voice, obviously beats him by default. Because even though Robert Pattinson's Batman voice, he speaks soft, but he basically is still Batman when he's Bruce Wayne. Adam West, same thing. It's pretty much the same aspect. But does it? Is he better than Adam West? I'm sorry, but yes, he is. Y'all gonna come at me with this or whatever. I really just don't care. Next up, Michael Keaton's Batman, which personally I like Michael Keaton as Batman. Um, as far as suit goes, Robert Pattinson still takes the cake. Reason why is because he's more functioning and he can move his head. Um, Cape wise, well, Cape, I would say Batman. Michael Keaton's Batman has it better. Voice, Michael Keaton got it better than Robert Pattinson. I'm sorry, but Michael Keaton still has it better because when he's Bruce Wayne, he talks normal. When he's Batman, he has a low, raspy voice, but it's not too raspy. But it's more like a angry whisper when he talks. Batmobile, iconic classic. You can't outbeat it, but Michael Keaton's Batmobile outshines this one by default because it's a classic. But I still love the new Batman. Um, Overall, fighting, Robert Pattinson gets it. So does Robert Pattinson outdoes Michael Keaton by a hair, by a hair, and everything. Next up, basically Val Kilmer, which I'm not gonna go down the list. Robert Pattinson beats him. George Clooney, we ain't even gonna talk about because we all know that Robert Pattinson going to outdo George Clooney. Let's all be honest. Let's be for real. Twilight Man versus Bobblehead. Twilight Man will beat him in an instant. Um, Next up, basically, Christian Bale is the top debate at this point right now because everybody's saying with the Dark Knight and this one, which is better. To me, the Dark Knight is always going to be everybody's favorite, and it's my favorite as well. But personally, they're even to me. They are in the tie for the spot number one and everything since I seen this film and whatnot. Um, but as far as Christian Bale goes, as Bruce Wayne, Christian Bale got it. As Batman, Robert Pattinson got it. Um, the bat suit. Now, when Christian Bale got the first bat suit, it was a bit heavy. It looked heavy when he wore it, but it looked cool and it looked demonic in a way. Then he upgraded to the next suit, but it made his head look very small. And the suit looks good, but it looked a little weird to me. It looked a little spaced out with the padding and everything. But as far as the suit between Patterson and Bale, I'm gonna have to give it to Patterson because the fact that the suit looks put together himself like, well, kind of like how Bale's was, but Patterson's is more homemade than it was from Lucius Fox. Um, Voice, Patterson got it because you can understand what the hell he's talking about. Detective wise, Patterson got it because they like I said, they delve more into the detective side than freaking Bale does. I mean, Bale had a detective side, but it wasn't shown as much. Um, Cape, I would give it to Christian Bale because the cape turns into like a glider. when he dives off the building. His cape is much, much. I say Christian Bale's Batman cape outdoes all the Batman live action Batman films that we've seen and TV show. Outdoes them all. I'm sorry, Christian Bale does it. Um, uh, Batmobile. I love the Tumbler. I love the Tumbler. Don't get me wrong. The Tumbler will be my absolute 100% number one choice for me to go to as to drive. But if we're talking about how Batman gets around and puts the fear into everything, I would say if by scaring the criminals, Patterson's Batmobile takes it. But overall, with everything, I still stand by with the Tumbler. I love this Batmobile, don't get me wrong, but the Tumbler still is my number one. It outdoes Patterson. Now, the reason why I like Patterson's Batmobile is because he built it himself. Not a lot of people like that because everybody's like, oh, but the Tumbler. I've seen some people on TikTok saying, oh, the Tumbler is a lot better and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but the thing is, he didn't make it himself. It was already made by his company, by Lucius Fox. Patterson's Batmobile was built by him. Built from scratch by him. So, I mean, cut the guy a break. The man is doing, at least he's doing something himself. There was no Lucius Fox or whatever to indicate that he got the gadgets from. He made most of the stuff himself. The contacts, the outfit, the grappling gun, everything else was built by him and a little help from Alfred. Oh, by the way, Andy Serkis is a great Alfred. Does he outdo the other Alfreds? Yes, by a smidge. It would be more if we got more screen time with him, but we didn't get that much. But I think he was a great Alfred. Back to Patterson. Now to the Ben Affleck Batman. Now, I was one of those people that stated that I did not like the idea of Ben Affleck as Batman because of the whole Daredevil movie. When he played as Batman, I was like, okay, I see. Okay, he made me change my mind. He changed a lot of people's minds. Now everybody's saying that Ben Affleck is the best Batman we have ever seen, best Bruce Wayne. I can sort of agree with that, but the only reason why is because this is a seasoned Batman. This is a Batman that has been through it all. It has done it all and everything, and he knows what he needs to do. He's well trained. He's well this and that and the third. Where this Batman, Patterson's Batman, he's year 2, so he's still figuring things out. He's still trying to come to grips of how to be Batman, how to be Bruce Wayne, how to do this and that and the third. So he's still learning. So you can't just come off and say, oh, Patterson is the worst Batman, and Batman is not like how Ben Affleck's supposed to be. They're two different Batmans by age and by experience. And again, this movie is set in year 2 of Batman, meaning in his early stage, meaning he's still learning. He's still getting used to it. Even in the trailer, and if you've seen the film, Alfred stated, you making yourself a celebrity. You're becoming a celebrity right now. People are starting to know who you are and everything as Batman, not Bruce Wayne. So, does Patterson outdo Ben Affleck's Batman? As Bruce Wayne, no. Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne is basically like a detective in a way, but he puts on the charm when he's in public. Again, this is a seasoned Batman. But he puts on the charm, and you believe he's Bruce Wayne. When now, as far as Batman goes, fighting style as Batman, Ben Affleck takes it. Voice of Batman. I say it's even because of the simple fact that Ben Affleck's Batman has a voice changer that he can change his voice. He can speak properly, but it changes his voice, and you won't know that it's Bruce Wayne when he speaks. So between the two, it's evened out for me. Now, as costume goes, I give it to Patterson's Batsuit because not because it is homemade, but because it looks a little. It doesn't look like, how do I put it? It looks more. It looks more like an Arkham Batman, like from the Arkham games, like we has like the armor and everything. It looks more in that category, and it's something that Batman would wear. Now in the comic books, he wears like a one piece suit with a black underwear on the outside and everything. That's comic book. It won't look right in live action. It'll look stupid. You know what I mean? So with him with armor in the games and the films, because in the films the other Batman, it looked like it is wearing armor, like a leather armor. So by him wearing armor, it kind of goes with it. I'm not hating on the Zack Snyder's Batman outfit, but at the same time, it's just it doesn't work for me. It looks too like it makes him look bulky and caveman like, and it's like I get it that it's seasonal, but it just I don't know. It just didn't work for me, to be honest with you. Um, but Patterson's is more. I feel like it's more something of you want to make a realistic Batman, um, and a realistic Batman in a live action. You got to give him like some kind of armor and everything. Because if he wears just like a one piece suit or whatever that looks like he could get hurt easily like that, then you know, I mean, what's the point of him being Batman, right? So all in all, Patterson Patterson outdoes some of the live action Batman. Not all, but some of them. Um, Overall, the movie was great and everything. I loved it. It's a perfect Batman. Not a perfect film, but a perfect Batman. Now on to the bad. Very few, not a lot. Um, I feel as though the I feel as though him knowing how to fight, and when he goes back home to the Batcave or to his house, I felt like they didn't do what Matt Reeves should have done was shown Bruce keeps up with his, hand to hand training and everything. What does he do? What does he do to learn how to fight like that? Does he have a training area in his household? Basically, Alfred mentioned that he trained him and everything, taught him how to fight to protect himself. But where in the household does he keep up with his training? Now, they showed him being a detective. That's great. We wanted that. Always wanted that. But I would like to see him, train a little more. Say, okay, I'm doing this and then the third. One of the guys managed to hit me. I got to stay alert on my surroundings to make himself better, because that's what Batman does in the comic books. He keeps on training, not just with his mind, but with his body. He keeps training and training, and it shows in a comic book, and it shows a little bit in certain films and whatnot, but a little bit, but not as much as we want it to be. And in this one, they should have shown it. But I mean, overall, what can you do? That's one thing. Um, I felt like they could have give Alfred a little bit more screen time. It would have made things better or whatnot. But I feel as though that it could have gave him more in depth with his character. As far as uh, the action and everything, I felt to be honest with I felt like it was a little lacking with the action because of the fact that I expected a little more, a little epicness even at the close to the end, but it's the early stages. I mean, it's a little nitpick there, but it's the early stages. And what else? There was another thing that was I had a problem with. Okay, the length of the film. Now, I'm not complaining how long the film was for being 3 hours. That's fine. But there were certain scenes that I felt like it lingered a little too long, and I felt like it could have been chopped down a little bit shorter to a point where it didn't have to be lingering that long. I get where Matt Reeves was going with it at certain aspects, but it was like, okay, you need to chop it down a little bit. As such, the the length of the film was not a problem. Just certain scenes, it felt like it was a little, nah, and all that stuff. Um, yeah. So basically, yeah, that's the only negativity I have for the film. Um, we're gonna go straight into uh the the rating of this right now. So the rating for this film, I will give it I would give it 4.5 out of 5 thunder strikes. With it, because of the certain scenes that was a little too long, that lingered a little too long, didn't show. I expected him to show how Batman keeps up with his training on his fighting skills. They didn't show that, and a little bit more screen time for certain characters and everything. It would have been a great film. Overall, 4 out of 5. Four 4.5 out of 5 thunderstrikes. I give this film and everything. So right now we're gonna run into spoilers for this film, and yeah. So please, I'm gonna work on the spoilers right now. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification button for more videos coming out. I have other videos I haven't posted up yet, but I'm gonna post those up as well as soon as I'm done with this one. Um, but as always, electrify the comments down below. Shout me with your opinions and what do you think of this Batman film if you've seen it already. Um, if you enjoyed it, if you're not, please electrify the comments down below. I would love to hear from your opinions. And if you disagree with me on certain things about what I said about him being better than certain Batman and not being better, whatever the case may be, leave a comments down below. As always, this is your Thunder God, Lex the Dawn, saying have a good day, and I'll see you in the spoilers review.